Good day, everyone. My name is Dancel John D. Esteral, BS Cream, fourth year. And our research study is all about comparative study of robbery characteristics and police response in Shaton, Santa Catalina, and Bayawan City, Negros Oriental.
I am David Jones A. Arellano Jr., BS Cream, fourth year.
I am Herman Jumaro, base cream fourth year.
I am Jack Ekinol, base cream fourth year.
I am Oscar F. Elombaring Jr., base cream, fourth year.
I am Jibin Asherto, base cream, fourth year.
I am Khalid K. Makatonog, BS Cream fourth year.
I am Bibliohinolos, base cream, fourth year.
I am Saldi Kidol Kilakiga, BS Cream, fourth year.
I'm Kenjister Emiliaris, BS Cream, fourth year.
I am Adrian Palanon, BS Cream, fourth year.
Abstract. So the abstract section of the study shows the summary of our study. Robbery incidents are a common problem in our daily lives, but particularly in the Philippines, province of Negros Oriental. In this study, it aims to determine the robbery characteristics and police response effectiveness in Shaton, Santa Catalina, and Bayawan City from the year 2014 to 2018. So the data utilized in these studies are from police records in Negros Oriental spanning 2014 to 2018. So we use basic statistical method, various Google search tool, and Microsoft Excel spreadsheet to conduct analysis. And the results show in the study shows the trends, the types, the spatial and temporal patterns, police crime solution and clearance efficiency of robbery cases, and moreover, robberies occur in specific place and times. The findings imply that robbers select their targets, and the study explains that robberies are non-random events. So, based on this study, the police response regarding crime clearance and crime solution efficiency percentage was minimal, and it needs to improve in addressing robbery issues. And then finally, in targeting crime prevention activities, there's a need to apply effective policing strategies. And the keywords in these studies are the robbery characteristics, the police response, the crime rate, then the crime solution efficiency, as well as the crime clearance efficiency.
The introduction section of this study gives the reader background and context to convey the importance of our research. Robbery incidents are a common problem in our daily lives, particularly in the Philippines province of Negros Oriental. Robbery patterns can occur depending on the factors such as time, location, days, and other factors, including the person's criminal behavior. In the research study about the spatial pattern analysis of robbery and spousal assault in Vancouver between 1989 and 2000, utilizing a geographic information system, researcher, including the characteristic of robbery, they can they can discuss the factor influencing spatial patterns and that robbery is highly opportunistic crime. Robbery often find suitable targets within their awareness space where they spend most of their time in their routines. So in previous research study systematically explain and analyze the problem and improvement of maritime security in terms of robbery. For example, story for 2016 found that individual and multilateral efforts have improved maritime security over the past decade and achieved significant progress. However, the problem of piracy, and robbery persist in response to the rising number of reported incidents. Regional states have enacted measures to improve maritime security in areas under jurisdiction and agree to launch coordinated naval patrols. Subsequently, other related studies about robberies are conducted in Nigeria, Australia, and New York City. This research study found that robberies commonly occur in many different ways, and this causes social problem and raise different facts. However, the local study focused more on the crime rate regarding robbery incidents committed by robbery gangs and their specific targets, such as banks, armor, bands, pawn shops, and other establishments. This study aims to this study aims to determine of offense characteristics and police response effectiveness in robbery cases in Shaton, Santa Catalina, and Bayawan City from the year 2014 to 2018. Specifically, the study aims to determine the trend and types of robbery cases in Shaton, Santa Catalina, and Bayawan City, as well as spatial and temporal patterns of robbery cases in terms of hours, days, and months. The study also aims to explain the socio-demographic characteristics of offenders and victims of robbery and police crime clearance and crime solution efficiency in robbery cases. This study is essential in addressing specific gaps in the literature. The study is conducted to generate advanced knowledge about robbery incidents in Negros Oriental Philippines. Unlike the previous study about robberies conducted outside the country or abroad and contain including out in conclusive result about the question in this study.
So the next one is the literature review, the introduction to robbery. So robbery has three ways. In we have the definition of robbery of revised penal code committed in three ways: by using violence against any person, intimidation of any person, and force upon anything. So the nature of robbery offense is involved in direct threats of physical harm to the victim, which often leads to trauma, injury, or even death. So it is a violent crime because it implies the use of force or threats, which we can cause which can cause significant harm to the victim. So robbery case can have legal consequences for both the perpetrators and the victim. The perpetrators may face criminal charges such as imprisonment and fines, while victims must seek legal assistance to recover any damages or losses they suffer in the robbery incident. So the next one is the theoretical framework. In theoretical framework, we use three types of theories: the rational choice theories, rational choice perspective theories, the routine activity approach theories, and the social learning theories. The first one is the rational choice theories. So these theories explains how individuals make decision over time. It is an approach to understand human decision making. It also assumes that individuals are rational actors who makes decision based on their practice. So the rational choice perspective provides one such as theories for preference and motives of offenders, and potential of offenders as similar to those of the rest. So this research has generally supported the continuance of this theory. The theory supports by findings on the benefits of the security policy, compliance intentions, the choice in estimating the latent preferences for crimes and victim selections, victim selection procedures among the economic criminals. So the second theories that we use is the routine activity theories or routine activity approach. This type of theory explains the crime pattern in space, time, and targets. The routine approach theory states that the criminal behavior is more likely to occur in the situation with attractive targets such as valuable goods or people who are vulnerable. Crime occurs as a result of the convergence of the three elements: a motivated offender, a sustainable targets, and the absence of a capable guardian. So this theory applies to better understandings that the crime event is in spatio-temporal context as an important research area in criminology with significant implications for improving policies and developing effective crime prevention strategies. About the routine activities. So the last one is the social learning theories. So the social learning theory is a type of theories that emphasize the importance of observational learning, imitation, and modeling in acquired and new behaviors. So the social learning theory, these types of theory is or the people learn according to the Bandora and Hall, people learn by discovering the behavior of others and the consequences of those behavior rather than solely through direct experience or trial and errors. So we, the researchers, found that armed robbery is a learned behavior transmitted through socialization process. Individual learns the techniques and the strategies of robbery through their interaction with other criminals. So also by according to Felson and Lane, also argues that individuals who experience physical and sexual abuse during childhood are more likely to commit criminal behavior as adult, partly due to the social learning process.
Analytic study is empirical studies. Empirical studies on robbery cases is used to produce knowledge that is based on experience. So, law enforcement agencies and policymakers consider that spatial and temporal patterns of crime, robbery, are essential in developing strategies to reduce and improve public safety. Spatial patterns of robbery refer to geographical distribution and clustering of robbery incidents across a given area, while temporal patterns of um, robbery refer to the timing and frequency of robbery incidents. Um, Researchers also give a suggest that poverty, population density, and proximity to significant highways or cities influence the risk of robbery in rural areas. They argue that the characteristic of rural communities, such as social ties and community policing initiatives, may influence occurrence of robbery incidents. The types and characteristic of robbery can rely on the crime's location and context. The research examined the relationship between robbery and violence. The researcher found that violence in a robbery is relative uncommon but tends to occur in a certain types. Um, Situational factors may influence the use of violence in robbery. Socio-demographic characteristic provides essential insight into patterns of robbery. Especially, it refers to social and demographic factors associated with individuals involved uh, in the commission or victimization of robbery. It includes age, gender, race, ethnicity, educational level, income, and employment status. Tony and Morris, Misner and Rosenfeld discussed that robbery is more likely to be committed by young males or a person more likely to be unemployed or underemployed. They may be need access to legitimate opportunities for achieving financial success. In in addition, um, they also have limited educational attainment and come from broken families or communities with high levels of property. Um, Police effectiveness to refers to how policing achieves its proper official sanction goals, especially police response effectiveness includes clearance rate and solution rate. A clearance rate refers to the number of solved cases by a particular law enforcement agency, while solution rate of crime solution efficiency refers to the rate of solved cases out of the total number of crime incidents for a given time. Studies found that the effectiveness of the police in patterns of their ability to maintain order and provide service to the local community. It includes crime rates, response times, and citizen satisfaction with police services. Um, Police strategies are designed such as proactive policing and hotspot policing to prevent crime and improve public safety by targeting specific areas or individuals that are at higher risk of criminal activity. Especially, proactive policing refers to policing strategies that aim to prevent or reduce crime and disorder. It discusses the data and methodological gaps on the effects of um, different different forms of proactive policing on crime, whether they applied in discriminatory manner, legal passion, and community reaction. Um, National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine. On the other hand, hotspot policing is a popular policing strategy that addresses crime by assigning limited police resources to areas where crimes are more highly concentrated. Studies found that hotspot policing has been revealed to be effective in reducing crime. However, there is concern that it may lead to unfair and abusive police practices. The researcher argues that the hotspot policing can be practical and fair, but require careful planning, ongoing evaluation, and commitment to community engagement and accountability.
Police response effectiveness. In this study, police response effectiveness shows direct measures of police performance. So, police response effectiveness refers to how the police can address the needs and discuss community concerns. Specifically, law enforcement agencies use the strategy to identify and address specific problems in their communities. It involves analyzing crime data and identifying the underlying problems that contribute to criminal activity, then developing and implementing targeted solutions to address those problems. The research found that shifting and sharing police responsibilities involves reallocating resources from traditional law enforcement activities to other public safety functions such as prevention, community outreach, and social service provision. Strong police community relation and community engagement can be powerful tools in preventing and addressing robbery offenses. Specifically, the study argued that community policing differs from police community relation. At the same time, both concepts involve interactions between law enforcement and the members are crucial to building successful partnership. It also found that partnerships that involves community members in decision-making process, such as problem solving and resources allocations, are more effective in reducing crime. Police strategies and tactics in preventing and solving robbery cases involves crime analysis, patrol intelligence gathering, undercover operations, public education, technology use, and collaborations with other agencies. Some studies found that saturation policing serves as a tactic in reducing robbery. Saturation policing create a strong visible presence and deter criminal activity. Researchers explores the implementing and effectiveness of community policing as a crime prevention strategies Harar City, Eastern Ethiopia. Ethiopia. The study provides valuable insight and highlights the strategy for improving public safety and reducing crime. So gaps of literature. So gaps of literature are missing piece or insufficient information in research literature. Finally, there are only few studies about robbery in the Philippines. Nevertheless, the spatio-temporal analysis of crime-related incidents in Bayombong, Nueva Vizcaya, robbery may refer to incidents where an individual or group forcibly takes property from another person or business within the geographical boundaries of town. In Pagadian City, the incidence of robbery may be affected by various factors including weather conditions. The finding in these studies were limited although some are related to hot spots and hot times. However, there were no studies about the socio-demographic characteristics of offenders and victims of robbery. Most important, there is a need for reliable data in the police response to robbery cases. The study addresses these gaps by examining and analyzing the characteristics of robbery and the police response regarding robbery cases in Shaton, Santa Catalina, and Bayawan City in Negros Oriental from 2014 to 2018.
Method section. Method section has two sections. First is the study location. Study location is the physical, social, or experimental context within which research is conducted. Second is the sample section. It describes what you are studying, explain the types of sampling, state and describe sampling strategy to be used, and lastly, it justifies your choice of sampling strategy. The study covers the different places in the municipality of Shaton, Santa Catalina, and Bayawan City. First is the Shaton. Shaton is a coastal municipality in Negros Oriental. It is located at approximately northeast in the Negros Island and estimated at 15.7 meters or 51.4 feet above mean sea level. The municipality is composed of 26 barangays, namely Albiga, Apuloy, Bunawon, Bunbunon, Kabangahan, Kanaway, Kasalaan, Katikugan, Datag, Hiligaon, Inalad, Malabuan, Malo, Mantikil, Mantuyok, Napakaw, Poblasyon 1, Poblasyon 2, Poblasyon 3, Poblasyon 4, Salag, San Jose, Sandulot, Siit, Sumaliring, and Tayak. Based on the 2020 census, this municipality has a total population of 83,082 and its regular annual revenue for the fiscal year of 2016 was 176,902,633.2 pesos. On the other hand, Santa Catalina is also a coastal municipality of Negros Oriental and was located at approximately northeast in the Negros Island and estimated at 13.8 meters or 45.4 feet above mean sea level. It is composed of 22 barangays, namely Amyo, Alangilan, Kaigangan, Buenavista, Caranoche, Fatima, Kawitan, Mabuhay, Kabulakan, Mansagumayon, Manalungon, Milagrosa, Nagbinlod, Nagbalayi, Ubat, Poblasyon, San Francisco, San Miguel, San Jose, Santo Rosario, San Pedro, and Talatak. Based on the 2020 census, there is a total of 77,501 population in the municipality, and Santa Catalina had 196 15,787.22 pesos annual fiscal revenue in the year 2016. Lastly, Bayawan City, it is formerly known as Tulong. It is a coastal city in Negros Oriental. The city center is northeast in the Negros Island and approximately 13.4 meters or 44 feet above mean sea level. It has 28 barangays in total, namely Alisis, Aliis, Banay-Banay, Banga, Boyko, Bugay, Kansumalig, Dawis, Kalamtukan, Kalumbuyan, Malabugas, Manduaw, Maninihon, Maniba, Nangka, Nara, Pagatban, Poblasyon, San Isidro, San Jose, San Miguel, San Roque, Suba, Tabuan, Tayawan, Tinago, Ubos, Villarreal, and Villasol. Based on the 2020 census, there is a total of 122,747 population in the city, and its regular annual revenue for the fiscal year of 2016 was 798,033,459.85 pesos. Of in selecting a specific location for studying the crime of robbery, it needs to be connected based on a combination of factors, including data availability, research objectives, policy relevance, and the opportunity to contribute the existing knowledge on the crime prevention and public safety. The study aims to determine the socio-demographic characteristics of offenders and victims of robbery and the police response regarding robbery cases in the specific times and areas in Shaton, Santa Catalina, and Bayawan City, Negros Oriental from 2014 to 2018. Figure 1 shows the regional and 3D topo map of Shaton, Philippines, retrieved from the link below. Figure 2 is Santa Catalina Negros Oriental map retrieved from the link provided. Figure 3 is the regional and 3D topo map of Bayawan City, Philippines, retrieved from the link provided below.
Data collection methods. The collection of data in this study is from the database of Negros Oriental Police Provincial Office. These different variables in this data include the date, time, location of the incident, types of crime, the socio-demographic characteristic of the victims and suspects, and the police crime solution and clearance efficiency. The data record was from 2014 in particular places in Negros Oriental, namely Shaton, Santa Catalina, and Bayawan City. The collected data were helpful in order to analyze the characteristic of crime. It will also serve as an aid in identifying the patterns of the crime. Ethical consideration. In conducting a research study about robbery, it is essential to apply a particular consideration that involves the treatment of participants and the confidentiality of the data used in the study. Researchers may also acknowledge and minimize biases that could influence the interpretations of the results. In considering the ethical considerations, researchers may conduct the study and prioritize the well-being and participants' dignity. Data analysis. In data analysis, we're applying statistical and logical techniques to describe and illustrate and evaluate the data. Table 1, 2, 3 shows the total crime volume of the robbery incident in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton from 2014. As you can see in the table 1, summary of number of incidents in Bayawan City 2014 to 2018. In the year 2014, here in Bayawan, the highest percentage is 55.07%, counting of the robbery incidents of 76. And in the year 2018, it decreases to 5 counts of robbery incidents, averaging of 3.62. Here in Santa Catalina year 2014 to 2018, year 2014 has the highest percentage of robbery incidents, which had the 29.55%, counting the incidents of 13. In Shaton year 2014 has the highest percentage which had 50%, and the lowest are in 2017, which has 6.52, counting in 3 robbery incidents. So the analysis employed basic statistical techniques to examine the data. We researchers used an Excel spreadsheet to calculate each year counts and percentages. Crime volume is essential to get the total crime solution and clearance efficiency. On the other hand, researchers make the tables from the data used in robbery incidents in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina from 2014 to 18. Further details are in the results sections of the study.
The purpose of the results section in research study is to present and describe the findings and outcomes of the research. Overview of the section. This section presents the result of analysis. It shows the trends and types of robbery, the spatial and temporal patterns of robbery cases in terms of hours, day, and month, the socio-demographic characteristics of offenders and victims of robbery, and the police crime clearance and crime solution efficiencies in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton from 2014 to 2018. In Table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, it shows the trends and types of robbery. In Table 1, 2, 3, it shows the trends. And in Table 4, 5, and 6, it shows the crime incidents in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton from 2014 to 2018. The crime types are attempted robbery, robbery with force upon things, robbery with intimidation, robbery with violence, and robbery with homicide. Most of the crimes in the given data table are classified as robbery with force upon things, with a count of 126 or 91.30% in Bayawan City from the total count of 138, 38 or 86.36% in Santa Catalina from the total count of 44 and 37 or 80.43% in Shatan from the total count of 46. In Table 4, it shows the types of crimes, classification of robbery incidents in Bayawan City from 2014 to 2018. It shows with it shows the robbery with force upon things with the highest count of 126 and the 91.30% percentage. In the table 5, it shows the crimes of classification of robbery incidents in Santa Catalina from 2014 to 2018. In the table, it shows the robbery with force upon things with the highest count of 38 and with a percentage of 86.36%. In the table 6, it shows the types of crime classification of robbery incidents in Shaton from 2014 to 2018 with robbery with force upon things with the highest count of 37 and with a percentage of 80.43%. In determining trends and types of robbery cases should be done by analyzing the crime data in each city or municipality. The trend of robbery cases in this study indicates that Bayawan City has the highest count of robbery cases among the three places, and its crime rate significantly decreases from 2014 to 2018. But in Santa Catalina and Shaton, crime rates fluctuated over the years, meaning they changed over the time. Regarding the type, robbery with force upon things is the most common crime committed by robbers in each city or municipality. In spatial analysis, Figure 1.1 robbery incident count per barangay in Bayawan City from 2014 to 2018, Barangay Villarreal has the highest count of 34. And in Figure 1.2, robbery incident count per barangay in Santa Catalina from 2014 to 2018, The population has the highest count of 19. And in figure 1.3, robbery incident count per barangay in Shaton from 2014 to 2018, the population 1 has the highest count of 13. Robbery commonly occurs in specific places within Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton. Researchers came up with this by visualizing hotspots of crime, by first determining whether the crimes usually happen in specific places. Researchers use spreadsheets to analyze spatial patterns of robbery. In Bayawan City, robbery commonly occurs in Barangay Villarreal and in Santa Catalina usually happen in Poblacion, the same as in Shaton, where Poblacion 1 has the highest number of the robbery incidents. So in terms of temporal analysis, we analyze the hours, days, and months. In terms of temporal patterns of robbery incidents in Bayawan, Santa Catalina, and Shaton, researchers analyze the data in terms of hours, days, and months. Excel, the spreadsheet software, is utilized for data analysis in the study. Researchers analyzed the total count of each robbery incident per city or municipality and then identified what specific times, days, and months robbery incidents commonly occur. In Bayawan City, robbery usually happen at night at about 0 to 100 hours or 2 a.m. and Tuesday was the day with the more robbery incidents. In addition, July is the month in which robbery incidents commonly occur in Santa Catalina. The highest count of robbery usually happens at about 0 to 100 hours or 2 a.m. during at nighttime, and then it also occurs at about 0500 hours to 0700 hours or 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. Specifically, results shows that the most robbery incidents happen in the daytime, particularly in the morning. In terms of days, it usually happen on Friday. In addition, February has the highest count of robbery incidents. Lastly, in Shaton, robbery usually happens at about 1300 hours or 1 p.m. or during the daytime. And in terms of days, it usually happens on Mondays. In addition, February and September are the months with the highest number of robbery incidents.
So in the continuation of the salt section, so the socio-demographic characteristics of robbery. So in this study, we analyze the socio-demographic characteristics in terms of address of the victim as well as the suspect, their occupation, their ages, their sex, as well as their civil status. So in table 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11 and 12 shows the social demographic characteristics of victims in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton in terms of their address and occupation. So from 2014 to 2018. So based on the data, Barangay Villarreal of Bayawan City has the highest number of robbery incidents with a count of 23 or 27.06%, and the most of the victims are self-employed individuals, the count of 24 or 30%. In Santa Catalina, Poblacion has the highest number of robbery incidents with a count of 10 or 52.63%, and the most common victims are random It is random because based on the data, there are the highest is the businessman, three businesswoman in total, and three jobless in total. So meaning they are random. So the robbers are don't select their specific targets. In Shaton, Barangay Bonawon, Malo, and Poblacion Ono has the highest number of robbery incidents with a count of 3 or 10.84%. And the most common victims are the businessman and the businesswoman with a count of 10 or 67%. So in table 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, so it shows the socio-demographic characteristics of suspect in Bayawan, Santa Catalina, and Shaton in terms of address and their occupation. So from 2014, based on the data, Barangay Tinago of Bayawan City has the highest suspect of robbery with a count of 5 or 41.67%, and the most common suspect are those jobless individuals with a count of 10 or 90.91%. In Santa Catalina, Poblacion has the highest suspect in terms of robbery cases with a count of 3 or 50%, and most of the common suspects are also jobless with a count of 2 or 28.57%. In Chaton, the suspect of robbery are from other places like Bohol and Cebu, and with a count of 2 or 22.22%. The most common suspect are those unemployed with a count of 4 or 80%. Then in figure 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3, it shows the socio-demographic characteristics of victim's age and sex and civil status in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, Shaton from 2014 to 2018 based on the data. Bayawan City, ages 31 to 50 are the common victims of robbery incidents that have a total count of 36 or 40%. Then most of the victims are males, the count of 40 or 48.76%, usually victims are married. The total count of 54 or 65.85% in Santa Catalina. Also ages 31 to 50 are the common victims, and most of the victims are females. Then usually the victims are married also. Then in Chaton, also the ages 31 to 50 are the common victims. Then the most the most common victims are males. Then it is usually married. Then as what we can see in the graph, it shows it shows the victim's age, the sex, the civil status. Then in figure 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3, it shows the social demographic characteristics of suspects' age, sex, and civil status in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton from 2014 to 2018. So as what we can see in the figure 6, so ages 15 to 30 are the most common suspect in Bayawan. Then they are usually males, then and single. Then in Santa Catalina, ages 16 to 30 are the most common suspect. Then the most common suspect also are males with a count of 5. Then in terms of their civil status, there are one random because there is a count of 3 in total in single and married. Then in table, in figure 6.3, it shows the socio-demographic characteristics of suspect in Shaton. So ages um 31 to 39 are the most common suspect in Shaton. Then there are usually males and singles. The socio-demographic characteristics in the study shows the address, age, sex, civil status, and occupation of the victim and suspect in robbery incidents in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton from 2014 to 2018. Researchers use spreadsheets to analyze the data. The result shows that the most common victims are from Barangay Villarreal, Bayawan City, then in Poblacion in Santa Catalina, then Barangay Bunawon, Malo, Poblacion Ono, in Chaton. In terms of age, typical victims usually are 31 to 50 years old from both places, and with a count of 36 or 40% in Bayon City, 17 or 62.96% in Santa Catalina, and 18 or 60% in Shaton. Then, robbery victims in Bayawan City are usually males. Then in Santa Catalina, females. In Shaton, males. Then married individuals are common robbery victims in three places. That place with a count of 54 or 65.85% in Bayon City, 21 or 77.78% in Santa Catalina, and 23 or 71.88% in Shaton. In addition, victims in Bayawan City the most are most are mostly those self-employed individuals. In Santa Catalina, it is random. Then in Shaton, the most common victims are the businessman and the businesswoman. And on the other hand, the most common suspect in robbery are from Barangay Tinaga of Bayawan City, then Poblacion in Santa Catalina, then in Shaton, um, the common suspects are from other places. As what I said a while ago, it is from Bohol and Cebu. Then the suspects are those who are jobless or unemployed. Regarding age, 15 to 30 years old, the common suspect in Bayon City, and in and 16 to 30 in Santa Catalina, and in Chaton, the highest are from 31 to 39 years of age. Then the most are males and singles. Only in Santa Catalina has an equal count in terms of sex, which has three males and three females. Then the police crime clearance and solution efficiency. So in table 19, it shows the summary of solved and cleared cases as well as the crime solution and crime clearance efficiency in Bayawan's City from 2014 to 2018. In table 20, it shows the summary of solved and cleared cases as well as the crime solution and crime clearance efficiency in Santa Catalina from 2014 to 2018. And the table 21 shows the summary of solved and cleared cases as well as the crime solution and crime clearance efficiency in Shaton from 2014 to 2018. The police crime clearance and crime solution efficiency reflects on how the police in the community address the issue of robbery incidents. In analyzing the crime clearance and crime solution efficiency, researchers or we use simple statistics by getting the total count of each solved and cleared cases, dividing it by the total volume or the total count of the robbery, and then multiplying it by 100%. Result shows that in Bayawan City, In 2014, both crime clearance and crime solution are 6.58%. In 2015 and 2016, there are no solved and cleared cases, meaning 0% of the total crime clearance and crime solution efficiency. In 2017, crime clearance and crime solution efficiency were 14.29%, and in 2018, there were no solved or cleared cases, meaning 0% of the total crime clearance and crime solution efficiency. On the other hand, in Santa Catalina, in the year 2014, had this crime solution of 0% and a crime clearance efficiency of 23.08%. In 2015 and 2016, there were no solved and cleared cases, meaning zero of the crime clearance or the crime solution efficiency. Then in 2017, there there was a 0% of crime solution efficiency and 14.29% of crime clearance efficiency, and in 2018 there was 11.11% of crime clearance and crime solution efficiency. Then lastly, in Chaton, 2014 has the crime solution efficiency of 8.70% and a crime clearance efficiency of 4.35%. In 2015 and 2016, the same as in the Bayawan and in the Santa Catalina, there were zero solved and cleared cases, meaning 0% of the total crime clearance and crime solution efficiency. Then in 2017, there was a crime solution efficiency of 33% and a crime clearance efficiency of 67%. And in 2018, crime clearance and crime solution efficiency in Shaton were 50%.
The discussion of our study reviews the findings and put them into the context of overall research. Restatement of objectives and importance of the study. This study seeks to determine robbery case trends, types, and spatial and temporal patterns. Specifically, the study aimed to explore the socio-demographic characteristics of offenders and victims and police response to a robbery incident in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and in Shaton. This study is essential in finding significant gaps in the literature. There have been a few studies in the Philippines on robberies, especially on the socio-demographic characteristics of offenders and victims of robbery. Moreover, previous previous research did not deal with the police crime solution and clearance efficiency of robbery incidents. There is also a need for more recent data to describe the characteristic of robbery. Next is the main findings. The study result shows that robberies occur in specific places, times, and robbers select their targets. In addition, robbers tended to occur in Barangay Villarreal of Bayawan City, Poblacion, Barangay Poblacion of Santa Catalina, and Barangay Poblacion 1 of Shaton. Moreover, robberies are rampant in the month of July in Bayawan City and month of February in Santa Catalina and in Shaton in month of February and September. It usually happens at the day of Tuesday in Bayawan City, day of Friday in Santa Catalina, and the day of Monday in Shaton. In terms of hours, robbery commonly occur in night in Bayawan City. In Santa Catalina, it usually occurs at night until morning, and in Shaton, robberies occurs in the afternoon. The most common victims are from Villarreal of Bayawan City and Barangay Poblacion of Santa Catalina and Barangay Bonawon, Malo, and Poblacion 1 of Shaton. The typical victims are usually 31 to 50 years old, and robbery victims in Bayawan City are usually males, and in Santa Catalina are usually females, and in Shaton are usually males. Robbers victimize married individuals. In Bayawan City, they targeted self-employed individuals, while in Santa Catalina's victims are random. And in Shaton, businessmen and businesswomen are their targets. On the other hand, the most common suspect in robbery are from Barangay Tinago of Bayawan City, Barangay Poblacion in Santa Catalina, and in Shaton, the suspects in the robbery are from other places like Bohol and Cebu. Most of them are jobless and unemployed. In, in terms of age, 15 to 30 years old are a common suspect in Bayawan City, and 16 to 30 years old in Santa Catalina, and in Shaton, the highest are from 31 to 39 years of age, and the most are male and single. Only in Santa Catalina and in Shaton, and in Santa Catalina, has an equal account in terms of sex, which has three males and three females. The police response regarding robbery issues in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and in Shaton were minimal in percentage and needed to be enhanced. Next is the theoretical importance. These findings support the rational choice perspective that individuals are rational actors who make decisions based on their choices and preferences. Cornish and Clark 2014. It further supports the routine activity approach, Cohen and Filson 1979, and social learning theory, Bandora and Hall 2018. The types of characteristics of robbery can rely on research in other countries, Filson and Buba in 2010. The presence of robbery hotspot also supports the previous research that has found robberies to occur in specific places, Taklay and Taklay in 2022. Regarding hot times, the present study aligns with the research in the Philippines, Mangobat 2022. The socio-demographic characteristic findings align with the research in other countries such as Chicago, Torrey and Morris 1982, and America, Messner and Rosefield 2012. The study of the police response is in line with the research in other like Scotty and Clarkey 2020 and Scott in 2013.
Next is the practical importance. The practical importance in research. It allows you to pursue your interests, to learn something new, to hone your problem solving skills, and to challenge yourself in new ways. The practical importance. The findings also have important practical implications. For instance, the police officers may improve their policing strategy in addressing the issues in robbery cases. It may help them to be more efficient in solving robbery incidents. This strategy ensures the effective response of every police officer in their assigned units. Heads of the family must also supervise their members properly when they go out, especially in places where robbery commonly occurs. For people to avoid victimization, they should be extra careful in hotspot and during hard times of robberies in their respective places. Weaknesses and limitation of the study. Weaknesses and limitation provide a balanced perspective and help us make informed decisions. They contribute to critical thinking, improvement, risk management, and ethical considerations. By acknowledging and addressing weaknesses, we can strive for continuous improvement and ensure a more robust and reliable foundation for ideas, systems, and actions. Despite the study that the literature has filed essential gaps, future researchers need to address several areas for improvement of the study. Specifically, the study only focused on three chartered municipalities. The conclusions cannot be applied universally to the remaining municipalities within the province or across other provinces. The data also suffer incomplete details because of the blank figures, although future research can address the limitation by expanding the number of municipalities to be studied. Future researchers may also employ other methods like surveys to solve incomplete details about the data provided in robbery cases.
Conclusion. The study concluded that robbery at Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton happens when robbers are rational in choosing the locations, times, and targets to achieve their plans. To listen the incident, the study emphasized the crime prevention measures that consider both spatial and temporal patterns and socio-demographic attributes. Generally, the study found that robbery in Bayawan City, Santa Catalina, and Shaton tended to occur in specific places and times, and robbers also selected their expected targets. The pattern, the pattern implies that robbers are rational in committing robberies by choosing the locations, times, and targets to ensure their success. The study supports the rational choice, perspective, routine activity approach, and social learning theory of crime. The study suggests that robberies should address comprehensive policing strategies and crime prevention measures that consider both spatial and temporal patterns and the socio-demographic attributes of both victims and suspects. An acknowledgement to thank of the people who helped with the research but did not quality for authorship. We sincerely thank Dr. Dan Jerome S. Barrera who made this work possible. His guidance and advice carried us through all stages of writing and doing this research project. We would also like to thank our family, friends, groupmates, and loved ones for their continued support and understanding when making this study. We also extend our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has contributed to it. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge the Almighty God for giving us strength and by guiding us in our study. We will keep trusting Him for our future. In references, it puts our work, the context, demonstrate the breadth and the depth of our research and acknowledge other people's work. In our study, we use APA format. In APA format is state the names and then the date followed by the title of the research article and where it's being published. In addition, other references are gathered from the data that can be found on the internet. That's all. Thank you.